I'm Albaz, the biggest nightmare of any gacha dev. I spent 3 years hoarding and collecting 200,000 primogems to spend on Alhaitham. I plan on streaming the wishing session this Saturday at 4 p.m. GMT time. In this video, I will explain what, how, and why I saved up this much. I hope you find it interesting enough to watch. Please, don't let the 3 years go to waste. I'm a free-to-play Genshin Impact player, and no, it does not mean I have a superiority complex, it just means I am superior. I started playing at the release of the game, and I used to play relatively normally, save for some unconventional picks for my main characters. However, during the first Zhongli rerun, I decided to stop wishing and save up all the primos and intertwined fates that I get. The goal was exactly 1,260 wishes, and I will get to why that number specifically later. I spent 3 years saving up and never wishing on any limited banner. And yes, that means I've held tight through 3 new regions and dozens of hyped up characters. Inazuma with the Raiden Shogun and Yaimiko, Sumeru with Nahida and Alhaitham, and maybe Nilu? Fontaine with Furina, Neuvillette, and Arlecchino. Even top tier characters like Hu Tao and Ganyu are all characters and releases I ignored for the sake of reaching my savings goal. Crypto bros wish they had such diamond hands. And it paid off. I hit my goal recently, and this is why I'm making this video. And to answer some questions you might be having right about now, yes, this is my main and only account. Yes, I'm completely free to play. And no, I'm not autistic. Now, why did I decide to save up this many wishes? There's a long answer and a short answer. I'll start with the short one. I wanted to get a C6 5-star character as a free-to-play player. And 1,260 wishes is the amount of wishes you need to guarantee that, given the worst case scenario in your pools, losing every 50-50 and going to hard pity every time. The long answer is quite a bit deeper. Back in the day, I used to play normally when it came to wishing. I would save up a bit before wishing for the new hyped up character. I was having fun with the game, but one day I made a realization that almost made me quit the game. This was a similar realization I made while playing another game called Warframe, which, for those who don't know, Warframe is a looter shooter. And this realization caused me to actually quit playing Warframe, and I was worried I would end up quitting Genshin too. What is that realization? Well, it was that I was running around in circles with no real end goal. I was not working towards anything. At the time, I was farming a talent domain, if my memory serves me right. And as I did so, I began to think about what my plan was. What was I doing exactly? Well, I was farming this domain so I can upgrade my Diluc, so that I can use him to more easily clear another domain, so that I can upgrade my Kaya, so that I can use him to farm more domains for more characters? Am I just farming a domain so that I can build characters so that I can farm more domains? To that you might say, actually, you're building characters so that you can clear the spiraling abyss, which is very valid, and was exactly the next thought that I had. The endgame is the spiral abyss after all. But why do I want to clear the spiral abyss? Well, it gives primogems that I can use to get new characters, that I will farm more domains for so that I can build them, so that I can farm even more domains with them, and eventually take them into the spiral abyss. Now you might say, well, that is the gameplay loop. What else do you want? Which is fair, very fair in fact. But it was still not a good enough reason for me to keep playing. I do not want to waste time talking about my propensity for existential anxiety, or what makes a game fun and meaningful for me. The point is, I almost quit the game, and I really didn't want to. I was invested in the story, and I wanted to enjoy all the other aspects that made Genshin fun. So, I decided to set my own goal in the game. If the spiraling abyss was not satisfying enough endgame for me, I'll create my own endgame. And obviously, you know what I ended up deciding on. But why did I decide on this specifically? Well, another observation that I made was that I had many characters not built collecting dust in my account. And not just random 4 stars, actual limited banner 5 stars. that I had wished for and never ended up using or even building. It felt stupid to get caught up in the hype for the new character, only to forget about them shortly after I get them, when the newer, cooler character is announced or released. So, with all that in mind, what kind of goal can I set for myself? Something that I can work towards long term, that lets me come back to the game to experience the rest of the story and events. Perhaps something that is usually reserved for whales only. A C6 5-star character, as a complete free-to-play. So, what would it take to get one? What amount of wishes would guarantee that? What is the theoretical maximum amount of wishes needed to get a C6 5-star? Well, it takes 90 wishes to guarantee a single 5-star character. Yes, you will almost never get to 90 due to soft pity, but we will go with 90 as the theoretical maximum. Then we should assume that I lose every 50-50 on my way to get the 7 copies of the desired character. So assuming the worst case scenario where I lose every 50-50 and have to go to the heart pity of 90 wishes 14 times, that gives us 1,260 wishes to guarantee the C6 5-star. However, since it is statistically impossible for me to get this unlucky, I'll end up having some leftover wishes, which will hopefully be enough to get the signature weapon of the character I go for. I didn't really care to get an R5 weapon, since refinements, unlike constellations, are just stat boosts and don't unlock fun or new abilities or passives. So after I got Zhongli, I decided that that will be the last character I would wish for until I reached my goal. And so I started saving up, with about 40 wishes already stored. When I first started saving, I actually didn't have anyone specific in mind. I didn't like any of the current characters enough to invest that much into them. But I guessed that eventually, during the years that it would take for me to save up enough, Oya will release a character that would hit the spot. And a few years later, lo and behold, they did release such a character. Alhaitham would be the character I decided to spend all of my hard-earned wishes on. I really liked his character and role in the Sumeru story. I also find him quite relatable. I like the historical figure he's based on and the little Easter eggs they included with him that reference said historical figure. Earlier I said that I did not care much about getting his R5. That was mostly because I felt that 1,260 wishes would not be enough to get a max refinement, in addition to the 6 constellations. And increasing my savings goal seemed very pointless for a mere stat boost. However, after going through some probability math, I discovered that I have a good chance to get an R5 weapon with only 1,260 wishes. I'll have to get a bit lucky, but it is much more feasible than I thought. And if we count in the amount of star glitter and stardust, then I'm pretty sure I am 100% guaranteed to get an R5 weapon. So the plan got changed slightly. I will not be going for a C6 R1 Alhaitham. I'll be going for a C6 R5 Alhaitham as a free-to-play this Saturday. To answer some more questions you might be having, yes, I did spend all the free standard wishes I got from the battle pass and such. I saw no point in hoarding those, and I could use the occasional 4-star weapon. No, I have not done any sort of psychiatric evaluation. Yes, I realize that Alhaitham's constellations are not as impactful as other 5-stars. If you have watched this far, then I assume you have some questions. Please leave them for me in the comments. This has been 3 years in the making, and I would love to talk about it with someone. Most of my friends who called me crazy when I first told them about my plan to do this have long quit the game. Again, the wishing stream is planned to be this Saturday, the 15th of June at 4 PM GMT, so feel free to drop by. However, I will be doing practice streams between the release of this video and Saturday, just to make sure everything works fine and that I'm familiar with streaming and talking to the camera. Well, camera. If the time of the wishing stream changes, I'll post about it here. So I'd recommend you subscribe if you wanna keep up with that. Otherwise, thank you for watching.